Hi, I'm Stephanie Rivers, and I want justice. The police officers involved showed reckless disregard. Hello and welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Come on into the conversation. Some of you, I'm sure, just got finished watching a football game. And, if you're a Cowboys fan, too bad, so sad your team lost, okay? They lost 31-28 against the Green Bay Packers. And, they had plenty of time to win that game. So, dry your weeping eyes and come on in and let's have a conversation. Welcome to the conversation. We're going to let a few more people come in and hope you had a productive weekend. I did myself. You're watching me. I'm Stephanie Rivers, and this is my journal, the video version of my journal. You could be watching on YouTube or Facebook Live or LinkedIn or even Twitter. On whatever platform you're watching, we want to welcome you to the conversation. I know you were hoping that your team pulled it out, and maybe you were watching another game earlier. And if your team won, congratulations. If your team lost, too bad, so sad. But there's other things going on in the world that we need to be concerned about, and we're going to talk about them today. Now, I did have a guest scheduled, a retired FBI agent, but about 30 minutes ago, he texted and said that he was sick and under the weather and would not be making it. And so we want to extend our well wishes to retired FBI agent Dwayne Gibson. And I know if he could have been here, he would have. And I know, what it means to be sick. So we want to just keep on keeping on because whoever's in the conversation, it still needs to be had. If you are returning, welcome back. And if you're new to the conversation, we want to welcome you. I know you're going to hear something that you're going to want to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you will be the first to know. So be sure and do that. And I have a lot of new subscribers coming in and listening because I try to give you something that I know that you can use and that family members can use. So welcome again to the conversation. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and invite you to come in and chat with me about the topic of the day. So I'm going to put the link in the chat so that you can call in, or you can, if you feel more comfortable, just using your fingers to communicate. That's okay too. But at any rate, today we're talking about people who would want to purge us out of existence. Okay. Now, have you ever watched a movie with an unusual storyline and you said to yourself, who in the world would think of something like this to do to another human being? What kind of person would think of doing this to a baby or a woman or a man for that matter, or a group of people who have done absolutely nothing to them? Well, when I think of that, I think of movies like The Purge. I know when I first saw the first Purge, I was like, you know what? This is not something that somebody just thought up. This is something that somebody wants to do, and they can't do it without being held responsible. So they're going to make a movie out of it, and they're going to make some money off of it. The Purge, the movie series, The Purge, is an example of that. there are people out there who really wish they could purge. They really, really wish they could get a free pass to kill or maim a certain group of people. And these people that I'm talking about, they have weapons, they have a badge. And if they could kill you and get away with it, some of them would do it. How do I know? Because they actually said it, they recorded themselves saying it. And the question is, what are we going to do about it? So if you have an idea, I know at least one person who's already Facebooked me and told me what his idea is, what he would do, what we should do as a group of people. But if you are not privy to what I'm talking about, then I am going to share that information with you. So we have someone in the chat who, you know how people come in the chat and they say crazy stuff, and I have no idea what that is. So at any rate, I can start blocking users so that you won't be a part of the conversation, because we are really trying to have a conversation. And if, again, I'm going to put the link in the chat, if you want to come in and talk and have some real conversation, then you're welcome to comment. But in the meantime, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you this video in case you haven't heard about it. There was a recent video that proves that there are people out there who could purge away a certain group of people, like African Americans, out of existence if they could participate in that. And what's worse, some of those people are law enforcement officers sworn to protect and serve everybody in their jurisdiction, at least. It was a recently released video showing members of the Wilmington, North Carolina Police Department in conversations with each other while on duty, talking about how they really feel about some residents in their community. The conversations were recorded because those now former cops, because they were eventually fired, and city officials said those people will never be allowed to work in the city of Wilmington again, ever, not even as garbage collectors. So at least we know that they won't be working in Wilmington. But will they be coming to your city? Will they be coming to my city? Because that's what they do. They go from city to city to city, causing havoc, because there's no national registry that puts people like them, racist ass cops, on a national registry, so you will know who they are, so they can't go from city to city. And that's why we need to be voting and keeping up with what's going on in this world, and not just watching football all the dang time and thinking that that is the way America is people kumbayaing around a certain team of millionaires, because that is not how it really is. We got some real life stuff going on out here that needs to be addressed, okay? So these recordings were discovered by a police supervisor whose job it is to go back over the recordings and see what was going on. Now, these cops were so dumb, they didn't even know they were recording themselves. Okay, that's how dumb they were. But they talking about how they want to purge other people. So before we listen to it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. Before I get to it, and I'm about to get to it, I do want to say we're going to listen to this and view this video under the Copyright Act of 1976, which says, for the purpose of educating and critiquing and discussing, we can share videos like what I'm about to share. This I got because I'm a Twitter follower of attorney Benjamin Crump. Now, say what you want about Ben Crump, like him or don't like him, hate him or don't hate him, whatever. He puts out these types of videos to let us know what's going on in the world. And I came across this on his page. I was going to have retired FBI agent Dwayne Gibson on to just talk about his point of view on this. And I really think it's important for us to listen to what other law enforcement officers, Black law enforcement officers, have to say about what is going on behind the scenes and what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis when they're working. And how do you work with people when clearly they don't like you, don't like that you are there, they don't like people who look like you, and they don't have a problem saying it. So that's why I wanted FBI agent, retired agent Gibson to be on, but unfortunately he's unable to be on. So you and I are going to discuss this. So without further ado, let's look and listen to this video.
You have a civil war, go ahead and wipe them all out. That'll put them back about 4 or 5 generations. Because, and then you know what? The good ones can go live in their little communities and they can do what they want to do. Just stay out of my way.
That's former Wilmington police officer Kevin Piner talking with another former officer, Jesse Moore. The conversation was recorded on a police cruiser camera, which was accidentally activated.
But if we do not get a handle on this, we are not going to have a country for our kids to be raised in.
In the days before, police and protesters clashed in Wilmington following national calls to end police brutality after the murder of George Floyd, a black man in Minneapolis.
You told me tonight, you said, all right, tomorrow's a purge day, get as many as you want. Dude, I go down there. I go down there and slaughter them motherfuckers.
The recordings were not only created by chance, but also discovered by chance when a supervisor conducting random audits of video footage decided to take a listen.
So I just sat down as a supervisor. We're supposed to review a video from each person every month, and I just sat down that day saying I'm going to try to knock a few out today, and that's what I was doing.
That's the supervisor who discovered the videos talking to Wilmington Police Department's internal affairs after she reported what she found. The court evidence exclusively obtained by WECT included not only the racist recordings, but 4 internal affairs investigations as well, including the 3 officers captured in the recordings. Both Jesse Moore and Kevin Piner admit that these are their voices in the recordings, and both say that the conversations were them venting, something Internal Affairs wanted to know a little bit more about.
You just used the term and then you follow that up with having to take it to a Negro magistrate. And so what's going on with that? Is that just how you vent?
So yeah, I shot my mouth off, shouldn't have done that. That's not who I am, I'm not no racist.
Keisha James, an attorney with the National Police Accountability Project, says regardless of stress on the job, this was more problematic than just venting.
I think it's really hard to believe that these officers were just venting, especially when you have them calling for civil war and you have them using racial slurs.
There's no doubt law enforcement is a stressful job, and in recent years, there has been a strain between the community and police. Both Piner and Moore told Internal Affairs that the tension at the time was reaching a boiling point.
The whole thing that started this whole conversation, man, it's just that I'm just at a breaking point, you know.
For many, the hate-filled language from the now former Wilmington Police Department officers came as a shock. But for Piner's supervisor, who found the recordings, it wasn't.
So did what you hear on the video surprise you?
No.
The supervisor explains how she overheard similar, albeit less inflammatory conversations during lineup in the prior days. On the larger level, James says it's not the fact that the officers said these things that surprises her.
It's also rare for those officers to kind of remain terminated instead of being reinstated either at that department or another department. The scary part is that these 2 conversations just happened to get accidentally recorded, and then the department took steps to investigate and then released some of the details about their investigation and what was contained in the recordings.
But at any rate, I think the answer to what we should be doing is getting a nest, getting a family plan. Even if you're a family of 1, have your plan together, have your defense together so that whatever happens, you will be ready for whatever. And then put yourself in a position where you have people you can depend on, whether they're your neighbors, whether they're other family members, whether they're across town. Have a plan so that when you if you are in a position where you have to leave your primary residence, you know where you're gonna go. Always keep your car full of fuel, and have um, first aid kits. That's what I'm trying to say. Have first aid kits available. Have um, auxiliary light available, have batteries available, just have things in order. So if you have to defend yourself, you will have, and it's dark, you don't know when it's going to happen, whether it's in the daylight, you have everything in order. Whether you have family members who are 5 years old, that 5 year old needs to know where the 5 year old can go hide until mommy and daddy comes home and get some. If it's a teenager, the teenager needs to have a plan where they're going to meet up. Everybody needs to have a plan. Grandmama, granddaddy, everybody needs to have a plan. Get your nest together so that whatever happens, because there are people out there like these crooked ass cops, who might not even be cops. So you don't even think of them as a threat. You just think of them as somebody just walking down the street. Okay. So whenever I pass somebody these days, going in the opposite direction, I have no guilt about turning around and seeing, are you still keeping on your way? Or are you trying to slow down and come up behind me? Ain't no coming up behind me. Okay. I have no qualms about if something happens, if you are walking in the same direction as me, okay, I will turn around and see how far you are away from me. And I don't have a problem stopping and letting you pass. And now I'm behind you, because I want you to know my head is on a swivel. Okay. And that's going to keep me, maybe they might still attack. I don't know. But here's one thing, it's not going to be a total surprise, because I'm always try to be aware of what's going on around me. And if you've noticed lately, people, when they pull up to to a red light, they don't even pull up like right diagonally. No, that's horizontally. They don't horizontally pull up beside each other. They now kind of like stagger, because most people are aware that, people will just start shooting for no reason. People, you don't even want to make contact with strangers. It's just a whole different day. I remember growing up, and I was in the second grade, so what, 7 years old? And I was walking, I know, 3 miles from school home. Okay. I remember one time my my second grade teacher stopped. She saw me when I was like at mile 1.5 or 2 miles. And she said, Stephanie, are you lost? And I'm like, no, ma'am, I'm not lost. I'm walking home from school. So she was like, do you need a ride? Now, of course, my mama told me don't take rides from strangers, and she was my teacher. But I was like, no, ma'am, I don't need a ride. I'm, almost home. I'm halfway there now. And she kept on driving, and I kept on walking. And just to think, of course, that was decades ago, that kids, that I would have to walk that far. And now when I look back at it, I laugh because of how independent kids could be those days and not have to worry about anything happening. We would start out in a big pack, and as people got to their houses, they would peel off, and then they would peel off. And it was like I was the last one left. So I had to keep walking, and I was okay with it because I didn't know no different. I was 7 years old. My mama said, walk home, don't stop for nothing. And that's what I did. But now you got to watch your kids, and it's hard because kids now are not as independent as they used to be. And it makes kids less independent, less reliable, less self-sufficient. But these days you just cannot. You got to watch your kids and give them a plan and practice that plan. Okay. So at any rate, I just want you to know that there are people out there that you cannot trust. The ones you think you can trust, you can't trust. The ones you think you can't trust, you probably can't trust them either. So you need to have a plan, because there are people out there who want to purge us out of existence. And so get your nest, get your plan, and work it, and watch your back and keep your head on a swivel. To find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com.